No one could have predicted how that last race at Phoenix could have turned out for the 1UP Nitro National Series. A chaotic turn of events late in the race there opened the door for Reid to take his second win of the season in only 3 races. And now we take on round 4 of the 2025 Nitro National season at Atlanta Motor Speedway. The first time ever that the Nitro National Series has come here, and boy have they been missing out. This 1.5 mile oval has great racing throughout the entire racetrack. You can run all the way on the yellow line. You can run all the way up against the wall. There's so much to love about Atlanta, and that is why we are here for round 4 for 70 laps here today. And for the first time this season, we are not joined by Duke Ansack up in the booth. He has some things to attend to, so joining us in the booth for the first time this season is James Ellison with us. He raced these cars last year. He knows how they operate, so who better to join us for this first outing at Atlanta? Great to have you with us, but from what I've said already, this is a fantastic racetrack to go racing at. Tell me why everyone considers it that one of them.
Oh, there's a lot to love about this track. It's got, like every track, it's got its spots that drivers love, that drivers hate, and the racing has always been, at least to my experience, been from what I've seen and occasionally experienced myself, been pretty good. I really am looking forward to seeing how all these drivers can work out here.
And taking a quick look at the standings after last week's event at Phoenix, we had a bit of a jumble in the running order after the Finguy-Psytomi team self-imploded late in that race. Brandon Smith plummeted down the order. He's now 19th. David Meskhi not even on the board anymore. But it's the Jeff Bolton Racing teammates that continue to impress week in and week out. Ryan Reid with a massive 32-point lead over Mac Johnson after only 3 races. No one else is within 40 points. Could we see another big shuffle in the order after today's race, do you think?
Oh, there's always that possibility. And you said it, though. The Jeff Bolton teammates are doing really good here, and I expect nothing different from them. But you also got to take into account the likes of Ryan Arnold, Elijah Ironhouse, even Eric DeMax, and a few others who are a little ways down the board, like Earl Sear, but still have a shot. And with plenty of races left in the season, I am looking forward to watching this the whole season through. But let's go ahead. I'm looking forward to today's race to get that part started.
And we'll be ready to bring that to you in just a moment, as we can now bring you the starting lineup for today's 70 laps of action. It's a Fair & Co. Racing front row lockout, with Ryan Arnold taking his first pole of the season alongside his teammate Skylar Taylor. Crossroads Racing's Jacob Buchholz lines up on row 2 alongside Aiden Clare, and Shantley Daniel making his first Nitro start of the season and his first start of any kind since the Daytona 500 duel earlier this year. He lines up in a surprising 5th position for Raving Sunset Automotive Group. That team could be one to watch as well as this race unfolds. But further back, you got Jake McMillan, always a threat to win in 7th. Got a couple superstar guys here and there in the field. There's a lot to look forward to. Who do you think is going to surprise us today?
Oh, there's quite a few drivers I think I got to say, that 01 group, doesn't matter who's driving the car, they're always in the mix. Now, Fair & Co., you can't count them out regardless. And of course, little bias here, I think a starting spot for Buchholz is going to be pretty good. Just a matter of if he and the 30 crew can stay up there. You talk about Shantley Daniel, that is definitely a way to remind people that you exist. And there's quite a few. I'm looking forward to seeing if McMillan can continue to dig himself up where he'd like to be, at least closer to it. Got plenty of other names toward the back. You got like Yatis Turgic, Braden Varga, Elijah Ironhouse, all toward the back. There's a lot to look forward to. And I look forward to seeing how some of these drivers who are toward the back will get up to the front.
So with that being said, we have 42 drivers ready to take the green flag, and we're ready to bring you that action right now. This is the 1UP Nitro National Series from Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the green flag getting ready to get this fantastic race underway. Stay tuned, folks. You're not going to want to miss any of it. As the pace car gets ready to pull off, it does so now. Get ready for the teammates at Fair & Co. Racing to take us to the green flag. It is Arnold and Taylor. Green flag in the air. We're underway. Atlanta, and Arnold gets a fantastic launch off the line. He is plenty clear of his teammate as the field of 42 barrels off into turn 1 for the first time today.
And you see right there, the holes didn't get as much of a launch as Arnold, but already inside of Arnold's teammate there. Just, I think for the moment it looks like the inside is the very early favored line, but we'll see as this plays out.
I would expect that outside line to come in very handy later on in the race once the tires start to age a bit more, as Buchholz sticks himself underneath Ryan Arnold to try and take the lead away. Arnold led the first lap, but Buchholz powering down into 1 and 2. He could be clear out of turn 2, but Arnold pulls back alongside him again. Excellent racing so far, and we're only on lap 2.
And that 30 seems to be a decent piece, but there's only so far you can go when you're the lone horse in an immediate vicinity, and you got two teammates to your outside.
So right now it is Ryan Arnold who leads both of the opening 2 laps, but I would be very surprised if he stays out there for the rest of the day, considering the freneticness of this pack that is forming up behind him. This isn't like a Daytona or Talladega where it's very draft dependent, but track position will always be critical here. As look at Kanauka in the 7th, sending one up the inside to go for 3rd, and David Meskhi, after the disaster that unfolded for his team at Phoenix, he's already asserting himself after starting 12th. He's already cracked the top 5.
And Arnold just barely edges Buchholz there as Kanauka gets moved up the lane, but it looks like Buchholz will now handily take the lead away now that Arnold doesn't have his teammate anymore. It doesn't surprise me that we've already seen a bit of a shuffle here.
No, but look, Arnold's already sticking his nose back under Buchholz, trying to take the lead back away. And as they come through the quad oval here, it looks as though Arnold just barely kept the lead through that lap. So Buchholz is going to have to try again to try and get a lap lead, get a bonus point, which he really needs, considering he is the last of the full-time drivers in the point standings currently.
He has not had a very good go of it, and I'm trying to look my best look at it, not just from the owner's standpoint. It's painful enough thinking about it from that standpoint, but yeah, he definitely has had a rough go of it. Had a bad outing at Daytona, and the last couple of races other than that have been mediocre at best performances. But so far, he's keeping his nose clean, even if he is losing a couple spots.
And to the lead goes Skylar Taylor in this 03. A lot's been said about his situation at Fair & Co. Racing. This is a make-or-break year for Skylar Taylor. If he doesn't perform, he may be on the hot seat. But so far, he's performing very admirably, it has to be said, taking the lead from his experienced teammate Ryan Arnold and leading a lap for the first time today.
And, Fair & Co. team owner, well, namesake Devin Fair, he's got to be loving seeing his drivers up there doing battle like this. As long as they don't take each other out, at least, which that could be a very awkward team meeting. But so far, it's pretty clean for both of them and the competition behind them.
Yeah, we don't want what happened to Finguy-Psytomi last week at Phoenix, but here's a guy I'm very impressed with in the opening stages. Shantley Daniel, this 59 car. He was having a miserable time in the Superstar Series, not qualifying for races. Martinez, the team owner, made the executive decision to put Daniel in this car. He qualified 5th. He's still in the top 5 now. Excellent stuff from the guy who's really deserving of a good run as of late, as Buchholz powers by to Arnold to take the lead here.
And he was basically the meat and sandwich between the two Fair & Co. drivers there. As he tried as he just powered on through and finally got himself a lap lead. And I gotta say, I sing praises about Buchholz, even though he didn't have the most stellar seasons last year in the trucks. But I honestly believe that he has a great chance to, as time goes on, get himself way out of the hole that he got dug into the early season on. As we're like, whoa, 4 wide back behind him.
Yeah, 3rd place on the line between McMillan, Meskhi, Daniel, and Taylor. McMillan gonna send one up the inside on not just them all, but Buchholz as well, trying to take the 2nd position away. He is really in need of a win. He's probably surprised as well as I am that he has not won a race in the first 3 races this season. Bit of a surprise there, but he's doing a very good job so far this season, everything considered, and now he's up to the second position.
Yeah, and you look at all these drivers shuffling around behind him. Behol's still hanging tough. He's been hanging tough in the top throughout this time, but Chantley Daniel has not gone away. Hasn't been able to challenge for the lead yet, but has not gone away and really just hanging out there just at the edge of the top 5, although it looks like he might be in trouble now, the 32 going to the inside there.
That is KJ Hayes in the 32 for New England Cruisers Racing. He started all the way back in 16th place, so he's doing a good job making gains through the field, as McMillan is now clear of that Hornet's Nest up in the second place. We'll see if he can track down Ryan Arnold, who's led the majority of the laps so far today, but I would expect, as the tires wear on these cars, that we're going to see a lot more passes, especially in the front few positions.
Yeah, don't look now. Even as Behol's manages to hold off and actually reclaim second place. Honestly, I think we're looking at the early players right here. The Farrencote duo, McMillan and Behol's. It's hard to say if it's going to stay.
Oh, I hate to interrupt. I think we've got a caution out. Oh, we do have a caution out for a big accident in turns 3 and 4. Not sure how we missed that, but it's David Richardson in the 76, Eric DeMax in the 16, Kanalka in the 7. I saw Kev Shearer with a lot of damage as well. We're under the yellow flag for the first time here, and this is going to bring everybody to pit road for a fresh batch of tires.
Fresh batch of tires and a fresh battle once the race goes back to green, but you don't want to see that, especially early on, because nothing hurts a team more, upsets a team more than when they have to go home early, because especially this early because of an accident.
No, and for David Richardson, Kanalka in the 7, they're likely going to be out of the race already, and that's a tough break for both Game Breaker Racing and BTB Motorsports. Looks like Eric DeMax is going to get back out on the racetrack. Nathan Meyer with some damage. I think Cameron Lassard in the 0 got a little of it as well. But for all these guys, it's disappointing because Lassard came into today 16th in the points. Eric DeMax was 7th going into today.
That is going to be a huge blow for him, because he's had promising start to this. He popped in the offseason and said, "Hey, I want to go Nitro racing." Got a signed a deal, and there's plenty of opportunities coming up, but it doesn't matter how many times or how few times even it happens. Getting caught up in a mess is never fun.
Looks as though Ryan Arnold has a slow pit stop. He's going to lose a handful of positions on the exit of pit road. His teammate Skylar Taylor is going to win the race off pit road ahead of Meskhi and Buchholz. But we're going to get you a replay in just a short amount of time once we've got everything sorted out here to find out what happened to put us under this first caution of the day here on about lap 12 of this race. Looks as though it starts right here. You can go 4 wide and 3 wide here, but it looks as though Lassard and Shearer got a bit too close to each other, and that touches off a big chain reaction. Oh, Richardson with nowhere to go. Cameron Brennan got a little piece of that as well. He should be fine to continue, but not a lot of room for these guys in such close quarters.
And we saw where DeMax got the little bit of damage there as well, so that's a lot of wrecked cars we didn't need.
No, and it's a lot of wrecked cars they didn't need as well. We're still really early in the season, but you need every point you can get to make sure you've got a good points position to lock yourself into after race 5, which is coming up in a few weeks. So, unfortunate situation for everybody involved, but we'll see him again next time out at New Jersey. So you can see it from our far shot here. I don't know if the 62 didn't give him enough room or no. I think they just got squeezed together. Kanalka just an innocent bystander, and really everyone piling in here from the back. They really had nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's what you hate about this. You think you're going to be good, and the next thing you know, one of the crashing cars is in your path, and you're with it, and you're in with it. I've experienced that. It's definitely not fun from any perspective.
No, and for Kanalka, for Richardson, they are both out of this race. We got all the other 40 cars still running here, and I think they're all going to be on the lead lap as well. But we've got the 1 to go signal from the pace car. We will be racing again on lap 17. They are going to have to make one more pit stop today, which is going to be interesting to see who makes the right decisions on that and who doesn't. But For now, it's all for the leaders. It's all about maintaining track position, and for those at the back, it's all about trying to maintain minimum speed so you don't get black flagged.
Yeah, that's the thing that you don't want. If you're stuck dealing with damage from an accident or something else, or something like maybe a tire going down and you end up scrubbing the wall. If you can't make minimum speed, that black flag is definitely not your.
No, it is not. But it's a rule, and we have to enforce it because if these really slow cars get in the leader's way and influence their race, it would really be a bad look for everyone involved. So we have that rule in place for a reason, and we will enforce it if we need to. But our main focus right now is on this restart. We have Skylar Taylor leading the race, Meskhi second, Buchholz third, Henry Thomas has fought his way up to the fourth position, and KJ Hayes completes the top 5 as we're getting ready for the restart.
Yeah, and I'm curious as to how Arnold will do there in the 01 restarting race as the green flag goes back in the air. Yeah, I expect he won't be back there for very long, but it's interesting to see as we got Skylar Taylor taking off the race.
Yeah, and McMillan, I noticed, wasting absolutely no time trying to fight back to the front. He passed KJ Hayes already, and now he's alongside Henry Thomas. Buchholz now sticking his nose underneath David Meskhi in his attempt to get up to second place. But it'll be Skylar Taylor leading the charge out of turn 4. He will lead the first lap after the restart.
And I noticed when Buchholz took out, it was because no doubt he saw McMillan coming. He did not want to take a chance of losing spots again because, like I said before, that 30 is pretty strong as we look at the back of the field here and see who's able to keep going from these wounded cars. But that 30 is pretty strong. But I wouldn't definitely say the 03, we already saw him, the Farrenco drivers, but that 29 is pretty strong too.
And he has been strong all season, so no surprise that David Meskhi is doing this well. Remember, he led 55 laps last week at Phoenix until the disaster between the teammates occurred late in that race. He is looking for redemption today, and I would not be surprised if he gets it. And he's battling Buchholz for second spot right now as Taylor actually starting to pull a bit of a gap on everyone.
And we don't look now, Taylor's teammate is, like I said, not wasting any time. Wasted less time than McMillan did to get back up there. It's Buchholz versus Farrenco once again.
And meanwhile, we're taking a look. We see Kev Shearer slightly off pace, and Cameron Lessard very off pace. I would not be surprised if the officials waved the death bell on Cameron Lessard's race any moment. But for now, he's staying out there, just trying to cycle laps, get as many laps under his belt as he can. But I think it's gonna be too little too late for the Lightning Supersport team.
And you see here, that 03 stout on its own up top, even as his teammate is unintentionally helping Buchholz arrow-wise. That's these are the 3 right now. I mean, you throw McMillan back in there, you might have the classes of the field, right? But Buchholz found himself in the front like he wants, but. Oh, we got some new players up here again.
Yeah, the 82, Henry Thomas has fought his way up. Angel Gutierrez in the 72, pole sitter last time out at Phoenix. And how about the car right behind him? That 58 up making its first start of the season. Mike White is a Turbo Truck Series driver for Jeff Bolton Racing. He is making his Nitro National debut today, and he started all the way back in 29th, giving that team a fantastic run to start the year. So a tough way to end Cameron Lessard's race, but he has been black flagged for a minimum speed violation, and that will result in a 40th place finish for the Canadian in the 0 car. But back at the front of the field, we saw a little bit of smoke there. I wonder if someone had a little slide through 3 and 4, but we don't have a caution, which is the good news. We have Buchholz and Taylor still fighting for the lead, which is even better news. As, you see Elijah Ironhouse falling back a bit. He's had a scruffy lap into the wall a little bit, and Hayes Green as well. So a couple of guys had a bit of a coming together in 3 and 4, saw a bit of smoke kicked up there. Will Parrish may be involved in that as well. But for all that, we stay green for the moment.
As we look through the field in reverse, and would you look at that? It's now becoming Crossroads versus Farrenco here, as Lucian, like I was saying, she's in the mix now. I'm really enjoying this as a team owner, but the racing, regardless of if my drivers are involved or not, it's been really exciting.
Yeah, and I'm sure Jeff Bolton's smiling too because of the performance of this 58 car. Mike White has never sat in a Nitro National car until this week preparing for this race. He made it, he qualified in through Gargar started in 29th, making his debut race here today and showing his worth as he's pushing Alexa Lucian to the race lead on lap 26.
Well, trying to, but like I've said, that 03 is strong on its own, but now getting put 3 wide in the middle between Buchholz and Taylor as Lucian, for the moment, free and clear.
And I think these are the first laps Lucian has led this season, so strong effort from the 31 and the 30. These guys really need a strong run, although Lucian did enter this race 5th in the points despite not having a top 10 finish to her name yet this year. I expect that to change relatively soon, maybe even as early as today. But Lucian putting on a strong performance, even if she's getting passed here by the 03.
Yeah, and I said it just a little bit ago. Crossroads versus Fair & Co. They went with Bulls now, both 31 and the 30, but yeah, like the 58. Mike White, I am very impressed with this. He got up here and he is not. I don't think he's even let Ryan Arnold get back by him yet.
That is a very strong car behind Mike White currently, and I'm very interested to see where he finishes today. He's destined for a good run here today. I feel it, and even if it results in even like a top 15, that's still a really good day for him in his first career start in the series. But look at Lucian powering around the outside of Skylar Taylor, retaking the lead, ending lap 28 with a very narrow margin, about half a tenth out front.
And imagine if that had been the race for the finish. Not only would I be a happy team owner, but that would have been a lot of happy fans seeing an exciting finish. But who knows? We may still get an exciting finish like that come lap 70.
As Buchholz battles on the inside of White, that is for 3rd position. And behind them, Jake McMillan fighting his way back to the front of the field slowly but surely. He's gotten back up into the top 5 past Ryan Arnold, who seems to be struggling a little bit now that he's in a little bit of traffic. But I think, the top 4 have been really good cars today. I think once McMillan gets up there, we'll have a real battle.
And I see coming into the picture here, we talked about him a little bit earlier, at A2, Henry Thomas. He's a superstar driver this year, but he hasn't forgotten how to race these things.
No, and this is his 3rd start of the season. The only race he's missed is Phoenix, so he's doing a strong job today. I believe he got a top 10 at Gateway, so he's doing a strong run in the limited appearances he's got this year. As both Crossroads cars are giving Skylar Taylor a massive headache right now. They're trying to see if they can split him through the middle. Buchholz has to back out a little bit, but that allows Lucian to get a huge run on the outside.
Yeah, but it looks like, I thought maybe she was going to save it, but no, she's giving it an effort as Buchholz has found himself in a little bit of trouble with keeping spots right now, but strong as that 30 is, I expect him to come back up here, even if it takes a few laps.
And we got some new challengers coming to the front of the field. That pink car on the inside, AJ Zhao, he started today all the way down. Well, he only started 9th, but this is the first time we've seen him at the front today. And how about Andrew Langley in the 20? Jake McMillan's teammate. Langley started this race down in approximately, I'm checking my scorecard, he started 15th today. So putting on a strong run, proving to Jake McMillan why he should have that ride by trying to pass McMillan on the inside. How about that?
What better way to prove to your boss you deserve that ride than to pass him for a top 5 position? Honestly, that 20 is strong, and to be able to come up here and challenge one of the fastest cars at this point in the race, that's definitely proven that you belong.
And now it's becoming JHM Racing versus the 31 and the 03 because both their cars have fought their way up. Kev Shearer, of course, got involved in a crash earlier. He's their part-time driver for the Nitro car. But I swear, Skylar Taylor is having a career day today, no matter what happens from here on out. This has been the best race he has put on so far in his career, and he's gapping these guys quite a bit as they battle for the 2nd position. Mike White still up in the battle, and couple new guys in the top 10. Braden Varga in that 9 car caused a bit of a stir up over a week, but he's rebounded from that nicely, and he is now fighting with Ryan Arnold, KJ Hayes. He's fighting for 6th place, and even further behind them, we've got Mike Edwards in the 60 car trying to push towards the top 10.
Yeah, and you see it, at least all according to the scoring right now, Buchholz just barely hanging on top 10, but I gotta say, AHM, they picked a good time, even though it's about the middle of the race. They picked a good time to show that they've got the power.
And look at McMillan coming around the outside of Skylar Taylor to try and take the lead. If my memory serves me correctly, I don't think Jake McMillan has led a race this season, which is shocking when you consider the amount of talent he brings to this series. 7 Superstar wins, 2 in the Truck Series. This is the last box he needs to check to get his Triple Crown, and seeing how he's not led a race this season, that is perhaps the most shocking news of all.
Yeah, that is. Well, he could change that here. Provided Lucian would have stayed behind him, but you know she's not gonna.
But now he's pushing his teammate. He's pushing his teammate now, which is a good sign. Of course, now he cuts down in front of KJ Hayes, trying to get a run going on the bottom of the racetrack. But so far, Skylar Taylor has just put on a clinic today, and both he and Ryan Arnold, who's still hanging on to a top 10 spot, by the way, it has to be said, doing a very good job, as we got the top 6 pretty much under a blanket for the lead right now.
Yeah, for a little bit there, you had Hayes, Lucian, and Zhao 3 wide, but then the move McMillan made kind of disrupted the momentum of 2 of them, but they're still hanging in there, still hanging tough. So, like I said, I've been enjoying this racing.
It's always a good time when you race at Atlanta, and kudos Jake McMillan. First lap led of the season, comes at lap 38 at Atlanta. Strong run for him already. If he can close it out with a win, I think this will be a really big day for that team and that driver as a whole. As now Lucian trying to stick it underneath Taylor for 2nd spot. That 31 putting on a strong performance, and I would not be surprised if Buchholz fought his way back up to the front either. We have some teams that have brought the right package here to Atlanta. We got JHM, we've got Fair & Co., we've got Crossroads, we've got all these great teams trying to put a great run together.
Yeah, I am really, as a team owner, it's really nice to see my full-time drivers have this after the mixed bag of a start to the season they've had. The only Crossroads car that's not doing the hottest right now, that is Ludovic Schret in the 11, but it's a series debut, so I'm just expecting that car to come home in one piece and in a decent enough position to maybe lock in after race 5. But I am really proud of the.
We just got a glimpse of Schret hanging out at the back, just logging laps, getting some experience there in that orange car back there. But still a strong run, and I would not be surprised if we get more great runs as the season progresses. But look at McMillan's lead. It has gotten... He's grown his... This is why McMillan came down to this series, because he knows he's able to win races each and every week. And so far, demonstrating that he passed Skylar Taylor quite definitively, and now he's starting to pull away.
Yeah, but the question is, with the way this race package is here in Atlanta, is that too far out? That's the big question here.
That will certainly be something to keep an eye on for this race, as it looks as though his teammate, Langley, is starting to close in the gap himself. We've got a JHM 1-2 at the front, which I'm sure McMillan is loving, even as his teammate's slowly starting to close in on him here. But no matter which JHM car wins this race, it's going to be a good day for the team.
And for a little bit there, it looked like we were going to have Chevy working together with Lucian and Zhao, but Zhao's decided the high side might be better, and it definitely turned out to be a good thing, because here comes White.
Yeah, Mike White continues to amaze me in this 58 car. He's had some glimpses of promise in the Truck Series, and keep in mind, this is mostly a short track guy driving this 58 car. He's not as good. He will admit himself he's not as good on these.
Here comes the lead.
Yeah, and he takes the lead as we got some early pit stops going on for some of the back end of the field as Mike White retakes the lead of the race from McMillan. Yeah, we've got some cars on pit road towards the tail end of the field. Could they be trying something here?
It looks like they might be trying. I mean, you're in the back, you might as well. And I can understand why some of these wounded cars would definitely do that, because you're not going to gain anything or lose much more by pitting when you're already down. So why not go ahead?
Sam Oskin in the pits, Jared Shank is in there, Hayes Green, a couple others, Mike Edwards I saw in the pit lane, but these guys at the front, I don't think they have the pit again for another like 5 to 6 laps, so this could be a really big moment, because if they do wait that long to pit, those guys at the back, they could be leading this thing.
And that could really turn this race upside down for a lot of people. You look at some of the ones who are in the back. Their names some of them are names you're familiar with and are just not having the greatest of days, but this strategy works for them. What a story we could be talking about come checker flag.
No matter what, I feel we're going to have a great story to talk about. As you see, Kev Shira blending back in. We've had some issues with this before. We're checking to see if he's blended in safely, and he has. Mission accomplished for him. As Mike White, in his debut, leads at Atlanta from Jake McMillan, AJ Zhao, Andrew Langley, and a few up, and Lucian and Taylor. The top 6 are starting to break away again.
And you see it there. The drivers that we were talking about who were challenging for the lead at the restart, at the 29, the 30, they were up there for a little while, but now they've kind of faded a little bit. I've noticed that I see a number that I haven't seen much of. Brie Blair there in the 5, getting to the top 10 start.
Oh, we got pit stops for the race leaders: McMillan, Zhao, Langley, and pretty much everybody coming down pit road here. As Mike White stays on the racetrack, he's bringing Blair with him, bringing Daniel, and Gutierrez. These 4 are staying out on the racetrack just another lap to try and get a tire advantage on the mass rush on the pit road that we just saw. So, interesting to see how that's going to pay off at the very end of this race. We're coming up on 22 laps to go, and I think now Mike White's going to bring it down pit road.
Yeah, there he is, and bringing the others who stayed out with him. You knew the leaders were going to pit soon because they saw the back marker drivers trying to do something, and they knew they had to if they wanted to not.
Ooh, a little bit of contact. A little bit of contact between the teammates, Arnold and Taylor, on the pit exit. That's going to keep Arnold in his pit box a little bit longer than they want to repair some of that damage. He's going to come back out, still on the lead lap, everything's fine. But that's not what that team needed to lose all that track position.
Yeah, and that's going to really mess them because he came into this thing 4th in points, and that's gonna cost him, especially if if those immediately behind him in points, Lucian Ironhouse, have better finishes than him.
But look, right now we're looking at most likely who's going to be leading this race when this is all said and done. Mike Edwards in this 60 car. He is famous for making some oddball strategy calls in these races. That's how he won last year at Las Vegas. But now he's probably going to be leading this race because McMillan quite a ways behind him, and a couple other cars that pit early. Brandon Smith's one of them. Sam Oskin, Jared Shank, they're all quite a ways ahead. McMillan now 10 seconds off the lead, and he's only got 20 laps to make it up.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do, and it's going to be even harder to do it if, with the way this package works, that the people behind him can't get sorted out what position they're in, because we have seen how this if Edwards pulls this off, that is going to be the story of the season, at least until something else wild happens later on.
And you saw a little bit while we were talking about that. 2 cars stuck on pit road with some issues of their own. Mac Johnson, critically, who entered today 2nd in points, and Riley Hooper, who entered today 13th in the standings. Both of them have some issues they're diagnosing on pit road. You can see them there. They are going multiple laps down as the field blows past.
Yeah, and that's painful for Mac because, like you said, where he started this race in points, that is going to be a huge fall off for him, and the points are going to get shaken up for sure with some of the attrition we've seen today.
A tough break for Mac Johnson. He was doing a really strong job, this season, racking up solid finishes, doing everything right with his new team. He's already gone 4 laps down, and I expect, he's gone a 5th lap down now. That's not going to be something you can make up in the time we have left. But critically, Jake McMillan has cut a second out of Mike Edwards' lead. If he can keep doing that, this race is far from over.
And you got to keep in mind the people he has in between them here that, I don't know, are these among those that pit earlier? I think they are.
These are the leaders that came in later, and Mike White has already passed Jake McMillan for the net lead of the race once they catch these cars that are slow, if they get there. So White and McMillan putting on an excellent show in their battle for what will be 5th place, but we've got 4 cars out there that, as they gain another second on the lead. But we got 4 cars out there that are trying this alternate strategy to try and gain some track position when they wouldn't have otherwise had it.
And you were talking about McMillan and White having a battle there. Behind them, you saw the 20. You got Jensen Noma in the picture now. We haven't talked about him until now, so this could be very interesting to see the 69 finally coming off pit road.
And the 18.
And the 18 just now.
Yeah, so they will rejoin about 5-6 laps down. Tough break for them, but we'll see them again at New Jersey, and hopefully they'll fare a little better out there. But Mike Edwards' lead, 3.7 seconds over Jared Schenk and Samit Ozkin, who continue to battle for 2nd place. Mike White and Jake McMillan, they are closing at a rapid rate. We'll see what the gap is between them at the line now. And they just picked up 7/10 on that last lap. They are coming in a rapid hurry. So the question becomes, at what point do they catch? Trouble, and it's Lucian with the engine gone.
Oh, no.
A tough break for a driver who was having a really strong day today. Alexa Lucian was on pace for a top 5 run if everything was going right. Now it has gone up in smoke for the Cracker Barrel Camaro, and Lucian will end today in 39th place. Not indicative of how that team was running at all.
I was just about to talk about how she was gaining alongside McMillan and White, too.
Well, it's a tough break for Lucian, but we saw the speed that she had today, and that was no fluke. This engine failure will not set them back too much, and I think we're going to see Lucian back stronger than ever at New Jersey. But that is, we didn't get a yellow for that. We're still underway, and we got 13 laps to go. And now, White and McMillan are they're within 5 seconds of the lead now. They are catching at a humongous rate. And look at these 3 cars up ahead of them. They're all battling for 2nd. How quickly can these 2 get by the 3 battling for 2nd?
Well, that could be answered pretty quickly here, especially considering the fact that these 3 are they don't seem to care that they're about to get caught by those who pit later. They just want to see who can get a better position, and it could all be for nothing once McMillan and White get by them.
But as long as they finish ahead of where they were running before the pit stops, it'll still be a net gain for them. So at this point, just keep doing what you're doing. It's working. So it's going to be interesting to see where they end up in this race. But Edwards' lead is shrinking every single lap. And it went down by 0.2 over the 95. But Mike White and Jake McMillan, they've caught Samit Ozkin. They're blasting past him on all sides. The question becomes, how quickly can they dispatch of Jared Schenk and Brandon Smith so they can set after the leader, coming to 10 to go?
Well, you see right here, White going inside, and he's going to go 3 wide. He wants by, and he wants by fast, although McMillan's not exactly making it easy.
Yeah, well, White doesn't have a choice. If he wants to win this race, he needs to pass these guys as quickly as humanly possible, and the gap is now only just over 2 seconds between Edwards and the rest. White's already passed Schenk and Smith, and McMillan's passed as well. These 2, they're bringing Riley Hooper with him. He's 5 laps down, but he's got a tire offset to even these guys.
Which, it's indicative that 69 is a pretty fast car. It's just circumstances were not in his favor to be able to be competitive today. But he's showing that car with fresh tires can compete with the leaders, even if it's 5 laps down.
And we only have about 9 laps to go in this race, and the gap is under a second and a half. White, McMillan, and Hooper. I know one of them is not on the lead lap, and Hooper just sails by these two as they battle for second. But
yeah, they just let it by.
Yeah, they didn't want to jeopardize their race by holding up a faster car, so they let Hooper go so he can try and chase after Mike Edwards. So these two can have a chance at it by the time we get to lap 70.
And they're having a go at each other while they watch that 69 go and cause some trouble for the current leader.
Yeah, and even if they're side by side, they are still gaining on Mike Edwards. That goes to show you what a difference 5 to 10 lap fresher tires are at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Because look, they are all over the back of Mike Edwards. The lead change is going to happen this lap.
And it looks like it's going to be McMillan, but I don't expect White to take that line down either. And he's just going to force the 60 up so he can get back up to the 21.
McMillan through to the lead. Mike White trying to follow him through. And wouldn't this be a great story for Jake McMillan if he can power back from a 10-second deficit to win this race to get his first Nitro National Series win this way? This would be a great way to complete his Triple Crown as we have 6 laps to go at the line.
And we saw how things went last week with how things went for all series that raced. It was some good exciting racing there. We're getting some good exciting racing here, but I know White is not done. He don't care if it's his debut. That's
definitely the case. He's already led a good chunk of this race. He's looking to lead more of it as he goes to the inside of McMillan to try and take the lead away, coming to 5 laps to go.
5 to go, and this is that point where I'm sure Mike would not care if the caution came out, so because he's in the lead.
Yeah, at this point the next flag would end the race.
He'd rather fight for the win. He'd fight for his first win in his first start, but right now, as it stands, regardless, as long as he's in the lead, he doesn't care how it finishes.
But McMillan is not letting this go. He is powering past on the outside. 4 to go. The margin 7 1/1000ths of a second between these two. They are giving it absolutely everything on the high banks of Atlanta. Not that far from home. And it looks like these two are going to be the ones settling this race.
And you see it there. And you see the top 3 are now 2/3 of which are JHM cars, which this team has risen to the top. At the beginning, it was Crossroads versus Fair & Co. And now, it's a first-time starter for Jeff Bolton Racing versus, well, the owner of JHM.
And when this is going to be an epic battle to the finish line, but from here on out, it's one man trying to complete his Triple Crown and join one-up history. The other trying to get his first career win in his series debut. They're coming to 2 to go. They're side by side for the lead. Can McMillan or White get the edge over the other? 2 to go.
2 to go, and on that one, if this were the finish, it would have been McMillan's race. But we've still got a lap and 2/3 to go here. Oh man, I talked about the side-by-side racing we were getting between, like, Lucian and Arnold and Taylor and Buchholz earlier. This, well, it's kind of settled out for now, but I think White's rallying for one final go at it coming to the white.
And we're at that white flag. 1 lap to go from Atlanta. Jake McMillan, 1.5 miles away from completing his Triple Crown. Sending it off into turn 1 for the first time. He's keeping a line up in the middle, trying to deny the 58 some clean air on the nose of that car. Down the backstretch they go for the final time. This is going to be a big push. White only has one opportunity left. He pushes hard into turn 3. McMillan looks like he's got the edge. White ducks down to his inside. This is going to be the finish these fans came here to see. Out of 4, final time, side by side to the line. It's going to be Mike White at the line.
Wow. That's wow.
14 1/1000ths of a second gives Mike White a win in his Nitro National debut. One-up racing at its absolute finest. Have you ever seen anything like that?
I don't think I ever have, and what a race for me to get back in the booth for. I disappointment with what happened with in the middle of the race aside. That makes up for it right here. This, pardon me. That I'm so excited I can't breathe. That was. Who would have ever thought that McMillan would be beat out for the Triple Crown by a first-time starter?
And McMillan, heartbreak for him, but he sure gave it everything, and he gets a double JHM podium. Him and Langley second and third. That's got to bring some solace to the team, I'm sure. Brandon Smith holds on to a 4th place finish, and Braden Varga completes the top 5. Mike Edwards fell to 6th at the end. Ryan Reid, the model of consistency, finishes 7th. Blair 8th, Zhao 9th, Noman a 10th. But of all the people who said Jeff Bolton Racing would continue to run a good form, who would have expected that this is the driver to bring them there?
Oh yeah, that is exciting, and it looked like the 30 had an engine issue or something coming into the pits. So.
Yeah, I think Buchholz blew it.
All kinds of interesting today.
Yeah, Jacob Buchholz, I think, blew the engine on the cooldown lap, which is a tough break for Crossroads Racing. They got their engine dyno people are going to be working overtime to fix that. But what a race we've seen!
At least he finished before we had to rebuild the motor.
But what a great race from Atlanta! And if you think this is great, wait till you see what we've got in a couple weeks' time at the New Jersey Motor Speedway, a whole new track for one-up competition where these guys are
I know that track.
a standalone race on a 1.5-mile oval out there. Going to be a lot of fun for these guys as well. So, from James Ellison and from myself as well, thanks for joining us from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Congrats to Mike White. What are the odds of him winning this race going into today? Sky high, but he perseveres through it all, and in his first time out in a Nitro National car, he is your winner today by 14 1/1000ths of a second.